let's go ahead and start. I'm going to meet everybody. I'm going to just cover some first things first, Phil, real quick, and then I'll hand it over to you if that's okay. So let me go ahead and do this. At this point, everyone is muted. And so I'll meet our special guest here in just 1 second, but I just want to go over a few things to make sure that everybody here is up to speed on all that's going on within our great team and our great company as well. So anyways, real quick, as you know, we're here primarily because we do want to go ahead and ask the CEO anything we want. You know, one of the things I love about FFS, it's very transparent. You'll never have to guess where I stand or the company stands or Phil. That's one of the, for better or for worse. We just don't sugarcoat anything. And at the same time, we want to make sure everybody has a chance to ask any questions, make any comments, or whatever the case might be. Outside of that, I do want to go over some first things first before we bring him on board. I want to remind everybody that FFS has a $10 registration fee for the month of May. So this is a great time to go out there and recruit people. Even if they don't get up and running with licensing during the pandemic lockdown, I guarantee you that the effects of the pandemic are going to be around for a very long time. Here in California, the governor says we're probably going to hit a 25% unemployment rate. And even if people don't lose their jobs, a lot of people were already underemployed. This is a great way to do that. I'm picking up a few recruits with a $10 fee thing. And even though we are in that lockdown in California, they did open up the testing sites are open, so we can go ahead and do that. Also, as you know, the convention is canceled. We're not going to get into that because we covered that in great detail last weekend. But Jumpstart 2021 is coming to Southern California. We usually go out to Atlanta. Well, the good news is going to be held in Orange County at the Hilton in Orange County. And one thing I will tell you that it would be double dumb to not register today for the simple fact that it's going to sell out real quick. The bulk of the production comes from California, and the bigger teams are in California. So needless to say, it is going to sell out. Registration is open. It's only $125 now until the end of the month. Then it goes up to $150, $175, $200, and $250 at the door. But I can guarantee you there's going to be no registration at the door because it's going to sell out sooner rather than later. Marcella and myself are already registered. This is the actual receipt that we got. And so I encourage and I challenge everybody to please go ahead and register, because I'm not even going to entertain somebody coming to me saying that, hey, I didn't get a chance to register. Can you get me in there somehow? And the answer is going to be just leave me alone. You had a lot of time to do this, and so therefore my recommendation is to go ahead, knock that out ASAP. I do want to share a success story. I mean, we've been sharing a lot of success stories, even though we are in lockdown. A lot of our teammates are doing really, really good. And I want to just recognize this gentleman and his lovely wife, which is Mr. Alan Guerra and Maria Guerra. I wanted to congratulate them. As you know, in FFS, we get paid every Tuesday as well as every Friday, which is pretty cool. Well, this coming Tuesday, their payday is a pretty decent payday, not for the whole month or the whole week, but rather for just one day, which is Tuesday. It's actually breaking the $28,000 payday for one day, which is not too bad. I mean, literally, this is, life-changing type of income that can be generated here at FFS, and this is just simply incredible. He deserves it. And ironically, that's just 1/3 of what he has in production. We've done a couple of other big deals as well. Also, I want to remind everybody that we are having an actual contest for a video setup. As you know, videos where it's at, people are intimidated by it. Well, you can kind of see I don't have my virtual background up right now because I just wanted to show you everything that I do in every industry that I operate comes from this bad boy back here. Just a simple green screen, the ring light that you see there in a phone. And people ask me, that's a nice office you have. And I'm like, well, no, that's just a green screen fake office. But it looks really sharp, and it allows you to do anything you ever dreamed of doing. If you want to go after just police and go after nurses and doctors, you can customize the message with that. So we are having two contests. Well, one contest with 2 grand prizes. What you see on the screen is what the winners are going to get. I just want to go over the standings on the app count side of the house. Mr. Chris O'Quinn and Joel Garcia, a teacher from San Diego. They're both tied for number 1 with 3 apps as of the system last night. I know it must have gotten updated today. Number 2 is Knock. Number 3 is Mr. George Munoz. But again, the top producer or app count-wise is going to get one of these setups. And then the one with the most points, which Alan Guerra is number 1 with 48,000 points. And everything else that you see there as well. I'm not going to cover it too much, but it's pretty cool. So congratulations to them. On a side note, if you see number 1 with 3 apps, Mr. Chris O'Quinn, I sent out a video yesterday congratulating him. He took the video for kids and the video for IUL for adults and IUL for kids video that we have, and he was able to generate 2 applications out of the state of Ohio and 3 more applications out of the state of Louisiana. He did all 5 pieces of business are in. They just haven't hit the system. And he did it all from California, from the comfort of his home, on Facebook for free. We gave the video to every single member of our team that requested it, customized it with your information, made it compliant with the information that needs to be there, life license and all that good stuff. Congratulations. And again, I just want to congratulate him on that, and it got him so far to first place. So having said that, I want to go ahead and introduce a very special guest, a dear friend of mine. He's the CEO of First Financial Security, Mr. Phil Gerlicher, that on a Saturday afternoon for him, he's in Atlanta, gave us time to come on board and just share with you what's going on in the company, but most importantly, to give you the opportunity to ask any questions you might have. And so having said that, without any further ado, we're going to pause everything right now, mute everyone. Do not unmute yourself. And I just want to bring on Mr. Phil Gerlicher, again, CEO of FFS. I've known him for literally since day one of FFS. And, you know, I can tell you that during all these years, and I do mean a lot of years that I've known him, I've never seen him sweat. I've never seen him lose his cool. I've never seen him do anything other than what he believed was best for the teams and for FFS as well. And so I just want to thank him, as well as his wife, Debbie, for his time. And so let me go ahead and get my PowerPoint down and try to get him on board. And then we'll go ahead and hand it off to him in its entirety. So just 1 second, please, while we go ahead. And let me find him, unmute him, and then we can go ahead and kick it off. I just saw him. Where did he go? Wait, hold on. There you are, Phil. 1 second, please. Bear with me. And having said that, Phil, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
It's all yours, sir.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you. And that portable video studio looks amazing. I think what I need is a portable radio studio. I was told I have a face for radio years ago by a guy who was in broadcasting. So Javier, you look really good on that. So that's how you do it, right there behind you. I love that. Well, I just want to make a few comments, and if there's some questions, I'm happy to answer them. Javier asked me to talk about really an FFS update, what's going on. And I will say this, that we are healthy. We are in great shape. And the question would be, what does a healthy company look like? In our industry, a healthy company is one that continues to achieve milestones for all the people. And last year we had 97 milestones last year, which was phenomenal. And last year, 2019, was our best year ever. First quarter this year, 2020, was the best quarter ever. Certainly the best first quarter. And since April, when people are into lockdowns and that sort of thing in May, I'm waiting to see how May turns out. But things have been a little soft. I mean, we've leveled off a bit, and I didn't expect anything different than that. This crisis, I was reading an interview by a well-known billionaire. I won't throw his name out. Some people hate him, some people like him. But he says this is the crisis of a lifetime. And what I have observed in my 40-some years in the business is that the more serious the crisis, the more lessons are learned, and the more important is the opportunity to come out of that. Every crisis reveals some sort of opportunity. And I think we are positioned to take advantage of any opportunity that happens like that in the industry for a couple reasons, which I'll tell you. Not the least of which is our new office that we're moving to, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But we have year to date, we've had 21 milestones so far year to date. That's pretty good. A little bit less than run rate than we had last year, but we've got the April and May going on now. And as you're saying, you're in lockdown, those of you in California, I do expect that to happen. Georgia is open. Our governor decided that livelihoods are every bit as important as lives, and caught a lot of flack for it. And I think there's probably been an uptick in infections, but the death rate has not spiked or anything, so that's really good. Debbie and I have been actually out to a restaurant 3 or 4 times since then, and I kind of forgot how much we enjoyed it, and frankly, we had taken that for granted. And to be able to go now where every other table is empty and to sit and enjoy and be out among people again was it's really great. And you'll get to look forward to that as you emerge from the crisis that you had there. California. Now, obviously a lot has changed. How we do business, how we communicate has changed. But our vision and mission, that hasn't changed. Our value proposition hasn't changed. Our commitment to your efforts, our commitment to the home office and commitment to you has not changed. And we do continue to lead with service and innovation. And we have a technology platform that no one else has because it's homegrown. And it really has given us an advantage out there. And we have attracted some interesting attention, both from a carrier standpoint, equity firms, and also agents just coming in needing a platform like that. Because one of the things we have done is we've innovated on the commission side. And in the traditional world of insurance brokerage, there is no innovation there. And that really is, I feel that's the last area that the industry needs to innovate in. And we're way ahead of the game on that. So as I said, how we communicate with each other has changed. I was listening to Mark Bierman. He was on the Champions Club call the other day, and he said he'd just been calling. For those of you, now most of you on this call, or if everyone on the call, is not afraid to talk to people. That's why you're successful the way you are. There are some people that they're afraid to call because they don't know what they're going to talk about. My goodness, have we got a lot to talk about now? How about talking to those people that said no to you last year or something like that? We can talk about the opportunity. We can talk about safe money, and we can talk about life insurance with the living benefits. There's so much to be talking about. And my experience is people are less intimidated by meetings such as this, Javier, where we're meeting via Zoom, video, webinars, whatever it happens to be. They are less intimidated to talk to you on a screen than they are to talk to you live. People feel trapped when they're at an office or you're in their home or that sort of thing. And they won't say that, but it really is true. And this is an opportunity for all of us to get in touch with more people. So I've always noticed that you've been on the leading edge of innovation out there in the field, Javier. And that's a really good thing, because that's one of the things that's contributing to your success. So we got to change how we do. Some of us are going to have to learn some new habits. I quoted the other day, there's a quote from a Prudential executive 80 years ago. Get this. He says, every single qualification for success is acquired through habit. People form habits, and habits form futures. If you do not deliberately form good habits, then unconsciously you will form bad ones. You are the kind of person you are because you have formed the habit of being the kind of person that you are. And the only way to change is through habit. So we have to develop some new habits, and we have to be able to talk to people more, call. How we do business has to be a new habit. And it seems to be seamless for your team there. And we recognize that in your team. And I think that's why you're so successful. Speaking of change, we are in a temporary office right now. Our office lease, we've been 7 years in the same office, and it expires at the end of this month. So we are what's called base camp. Since we moved everybody to working from home, we're in a smaller office in the building next to where we're going now, and the construction will begin on it, I think, within a few weeks. Construction's been delayed because of the COVID-19, and now things are going full speed ahead. Where we had wanted to be in the office June 1st, it's going to be more like August. So we'll spend a couple of months in this temporary office space, but you shouldn't notice any lapse in service or anything like that. Everybody's working. We got people working from home. 4 or 5 people come in to the office, and we feel we haven't skipped a beat. If you notice that out there, please let us know. By now, you know about Dream Destination 2020. It's been rescheduled, as I mentioned before on another call. It was postponed. It was rescheduled. It wasn't canceled. And we've seen cancellations all across the industry, from carriers, their meetings, to other agencies. Ours is, we fully expect to see everyone who qualified in Jamaica in late September, early October. We're waiting for the word. We're monitoring all of this very closely. We're waiting for Jamaica to officially open up. and the expectation that what we're getting from Hyatt, for example, and the other venues, that they fully expect that to happen too. So we'll be looking forward to that. Leaders Convention, of course, is canceled. Refunds we're working through that now, and we're not alone in that. We talked to the M Resort and all of Vegas, as you know. It was just shut down. I think the buffets are a thing of history. But we fully expect that we have rescheduled it for next year at that property. Everything is just going to be set back a year, and we look forward, obviously, to meeting with you the first time we can, which is going to be at Jumpstart 2021, as Javier said, there in Southern California. We're very excited about that, to get back to Southern California. And we do realize, as you said, Javier, most of the business, the largest chunk of business on a percentage by state, comes from California. And so we're really glad to be back there. And now we got just a word about Dream Destination 2021, the cruise. Cruises are gearing up to get back in business, new protocols as it comes to sanitation and that sort of thing. The Regent ships have always been excellent because they're a 6-star cruise. They're smaller cruises, and we fully anticipate there's going to be an announcement coming out. I'm working with Vince right now, a special announcement, a real positive announcement we're going to be really excited to make about Dream Destination 2021. So stay tuned for that. The one thing I'll say about the COVID-19 crisis is it's been very frustrating to, I'll make it personal. I'm personally very frustrated with the information, the news cycles that we get. There are competing points of view, reference points on it. And the only good thing is that as we move through this cycle, we're getting our future is coming into focus as it relates to this. We're getting a better idea of what we're dealing with. It is a serious problem. We're all taking it seriously, which we should, but it's not Armageddon. This is not the end of the world. We've done the pandemics before. I remember in 2009 when I had the goodbye duty in Mexico and the swine flu was going on. I was oblivious, so I was so happy. When the last car left, I was at the resort. All there were a few employees there. It was just me. And I asked, I go, what's going on? They said, well, there's a pandemic going on. Oh, man. Well, when I went to the airport, I found out that that was the hotel at the airport. I was waiting for my early morning flight, and it was totally vacant. And it was only then did I realize the severity of the situation that we had. Everybody who left the Dream Destination in 2009 went as usual, went to the airport, got on the plane. That morning, when I went on there, everyone was being screened, and I realized that there was something going on. But so it just, ignorance is bliss, I guess. So I wouldn't worry about it as long as I didn't know about it. But again, this is something we appreciate all of you taking it seriously. Your clients appreciate that. We're doing the same thing. And the interesting thing, as I said before, it is like the perfect scenario for our business. I couldn't have come up with that. The perfect scenario, because people are thinking about life insurance. They're licking their wounds from losing 40, 50% in their 401ks. They said no to safe money with some of you because they wanted to have market exposure, because they wanted to get more. And I'll tell you, that's a great conversation to have when you got to call them up and say, okay, can I tell you again what we did? How did that work out for you? We are, again, in a crisis of a lifetime, but we are going to have some incredible opportunities coming out of this, and not the least of which is some other firms aren't going to be as fortunate as we are. I always quote Octavia Gibbs, who told me one day, she says, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And I realized that we've spent a decade getting ready for something. We didn't know what, but this is it. And we, of course, are ready. Our technology platform allowed us to seamlessly move to the new reality. And everything about the business, the relationships with the carriers, the automation of what we do. We have been on the leading edge of electronic business from start to finish, and will remain there. And so we haven't skipped a beat because of that. But we are ready. And I also feel that the future looks really bright for us for a number of reasons. Number one, our value proposition. I'm constantly looking at the competition out there. I believe we've got the best value proposition out there. We've got the best technology. And I will say the diversity of the FFS field force, I think, is one of our greatest strengths. And it's a real honor for Debbie and I to be in business with all of you. And that's why we remain committed to you, committed to what you're doing. And we're really looking forward to the next few years to see what happens to us as a family. And again, we're a bellwether for the industry. We're not alone. And you know, instead of pulling back, we're pushing forward because we think it's the right thing to do. So for you and us and FFS, you know, we're here now together as this. And I just say, for such a time as this, we are here. And Javier, again, I just want to say thank you. Really appreciate the invitation to come and speak to you and your people. And I would just say, stay well, be safe. And if you've got some questions, Javier, I'd be happy to take a crack at them.
Okay, Phil, thank you so much. I really appreciate that update. What we're going to do now is anybody has a question, you can either go ahead and there's a chat box, or we're going to unmute everybody for just 1 second. So I just need everybody or anybody to speak up. Mute yourself on your end if you don't have any questions, so that way we can move this along and we can just go ahead and get back to our weekend. So let me just go ahead and do that. And again, just bear with me for 1 second while we go ahead and unmute everybody, I'm sorry. Let's see. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Anybody?
Yeah, I'm here. Bob Roberto here.
Okay, Bob, go. Bob, let me unmute you individually. There's a lot of background. Hold on. Yeah, that's too much. So just mute yourselves if you can. So, Bob Roberto. Okay, I just saw you right here. So let me just go ahead. Okay, Bob, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Any
Go
chance?
ahead,
Any chance that the money we paid for the convention can be just transferred to Jumpstart?
Well, you know, we looked at that as an option, and it would have required some programming to do that. My preference was that was, like I said, that was my idea, and I was told that it wasn't really the best idea. We decided that a full refund was going to. We knew it wouldn't make a difference for most people, but there's going to be some people who are hard hit right now, and maybe having $100, $150 back on their card would help them. So we just decided to do full refunds. Easier to do.
Thank you, Phil. Let's see. Okay, there's a Vilma Castaneda has a question. Phil, good morning. Please repeat the quote from Prudential Executive.
Oh, yes. Okay. We may even get this.
Sure.
I may be able to find it and maybe shoot it out to you, and you can share it. It's a guy by the name of Albert Gray, and he was a life insurance executive at Prudential back in the 40s. And he said, every single qualification for success is acquired through habit. People form habits, and habits form futures. If you do not deliberately form good habits, then you unconsciously will form bad ones. You are the kind of person you are because you have formed the habit of being the kind of person, and the only way you can change is through habit.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. If anybody has any other questions, we're gonna try to unmute everybody again. If you have a lot of background noise, just please speak up. Any questions from anyone? Okay, we have another one via chat. Perfect. Okay, so let me go ahead and read it to you real quick. Ashton, go ahead, please. With your question, do you want to ask? I don't know if you want to text the rest of it out, chat it out, or you want me to unmute you? Oh, let me just unmute you to be safe. We can all hear the question. So let me just go ahead and see if I can find you real quick. If you could just text it in, I think that'd be the best way because I can't find the other. Oh, here you are. All right, so let me just go. Oh, you don't have your microphone activated, so you're gonna have to just go ahead and type it into the chat box because you did not activate the microphone, so we cannot even unmute you.
Phil, this is Holly. I have a question for you with regards to right now, as you say, we're on a different mode in terms of video, and Javier has been amazing with social media. How is FFS handling? Are you guys working on things that we can shoot out as well as our own teams?
Yes, absolutely. We have multiple platforms that we use. Internally, we use Microsoft Teams, and we're using that. And obviously, almost everybody is on the Zoom platforms also. What's interesting about Microsoft, they bought Skype, and Skype basically turned into their Microsoft Teams. And I haven't used it that much. A lot of our other departments do. I embrace it now. I think it's a great thing to do. In fact, we're going to be expanding our technology capabilities at the new office space, where if you're in there or whatever, we're gonna have those platforms available to everyone. So that's an exciting development.
Great. And I guess I also meant, the things that we get out to them, like creating material, creating just, I don't know, as quickly as we can get new things out and post it, and whatever we get reaction from one or another. How's that going?
So let me see if I understand your question. So are we going to create, in this new media, are we going to create information for you to use for marketing and disseminating out to your team members and customers?
Yeah, more perspectives. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
More clients, but perspectives mostly. Yeah, I like to get business in this time.
Yeah. That's, Javier, I would say you probably need to invite Vince and have him on there. Vince runs the entire marketing operation. We're investing really heavily in that. They're in the process of creating lots of material. And that really would be a Vince question. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't know everything they're doing. All I know is they're working on multiple fronts. And it's all about information and tools for you to use as agents, and also to share with your customers.
Great, thank you, Phil.
And along those lines, if I may add something that maybe can help you out as well, is that if you go to the FFS, the back office in FFS, they do have, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull this up real quick for you to see what I'm talking about. They do have, and so let me just switch the view so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just share the screen, and I'm going to share the screen that actually has that information, which is going to be here. And so if you look here, I mean, actually, this is the FFS back office. There's a lot of posts, and I do mean a lot of posts that are intended for you to just simply copy and paste both the image or picture as well as what to paste on your actual Facebook page. So as you can kind of see, there's just a few of the many things that are out there that you can just literally cut and paste. Also, if you follow FFS or like the page, you'll get the updates. And there you will also see a lot of different things that you can just, once again, copy and paste that's intended for public use as well. So just go through it. You can actually go through the pictures on the left-hand side, or the photos as they call them. And when you go in there, you'll see a lot of internal stuff, but you will also see a lot of things that are intended for the benefit of the public as well. And it's compliant, the whole 9 yards in regards to that as well. So hope that helps also. Perfect. Any other question? Do we have any questions from anybody else at this time? You can unmute yourself on your end. Just click the little microphone with the slash through it, and that will unmute you. Nobody's asking anything via chat. Go ahead, sir. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, good morning, Phil. This is Mike. I hope that you're doing well. And I just wanted to thank you for doing this for the team. I think communication right now is very, very critical. We had a call that you were on this week for the Champions Club members, and I can't tell you how important that is, not only for myself, but for the team, for leadership, just to be vocal, at this time. I have a couple questions for you, so thank you, and I hope that Debbie and the family is doing well. Two questions. When we're talking to clients, they're hearing about all these companies having financial issues. JCPenney just filed for bankruptcy yesterday. Can you speak to the financial strength of some of our partners right now? I know that revenues obviously have been going down for some companies, not all the companies, but in particular, National Life and Anaco, if you could speak to that. And then my second question is, with all this debt that's piling up in the country, how do you see this kind of affecting rates kind of moving forward, or in the short term? Obviously, annuity rates are not really good right now, but How do you see that kind of playing out in the near term and in the short term?
Okay. Well, I'm not a prophet, but I can certainly give you some of the, I'll certainly give you my opinion. And I thank you for asking. Most people, I give people my opinion and they don't ask for it. So as far as the financial condition, I don't firsthand know of, I've talked to a couple of companies, and the two companies that I have talked to have said that their business is on the upswing. And I haven't talked to National Life, I haven't talked to American National, but all the companies we deal with are financially sound, and the carriers in the industry, they have to manage, they are mandated to invest in conservative investments, and because they've got all these liabilities out there that they're required to be prudent about it. And then of course the industry too, we've got an additional layer of protection in the industry is that the industries don't go bankrupt. If they go into a problem, they go into I think they call it a receivership or something like that. The state insurance oversight come in, and they will take that, and the other company, there will be other companies that will come and take it over, so nothing happens to the customer. And so that's pretty special. The reinsurance, spreading the risk thing in our industry, the innate financial security based upon how they have to invest, and the fact that people are that the whole industry is growing as people get more worried. I would say that. So that is probably the least of my concerns. I would suspect, if I had to guess, again, I think we're kind of a bellwether what's going on out there. If we see things are weak a little bit, I think then other people are going to see that too. And you know, when there's a crisis, people who are trained don't panic, but a lot of the public panics. They don't know what to think. They run for cover, put the covers over their head. They don't want to know. They don't want to take calls. They don't want to talk to anybody. They're just afraid. People that understand markets aren't afraid. We may not know what's going on, but we're going to stop and we're going to figure it out. I'm one of those on the second side. If I hear a gunshot, I don't run because I may be running the wrong way. When there's an economic crisis, I stop and think. Back in 2008, I think I gave a talk on thinking in our business because it just seemed that many people weren't thinking. They were just running, you know, oh, this is better, so I'm running over there. Oh, that wasn't right, now I'm running over there. So I just challenge people to think about what they're doing, and if things are too good to be true, then they probably are, that sort of thing. But the industry is solid. I know our carriers are, and that will be confirmed, I predict, by the ratings coming out. The individual companies are coming out, Michael. I think we're in good shape as an industry that way. Now on debt, I remember it was 2006, and I was in a meeting, and the CEO of Allstate Financial was talking, and he was a very proper man. And it got around to talking about the debt. And this was in 2006 when, and I'm pretty sure it was it was early 2000s. And he used some bad words, and I could not believe it when he's talking about the debt. And he basically said, I'm afraid we're going to have to inflate our way out of this. That is cheapen the dollar and just pay this debt back with cheaper dollars, basically. And I thought, well, that makes total sense to me. Fundamentally, that makes sense. If you know economics, if you've got too many dollars chasing a fixed amount of goods, then the price is going to go up. If you have too few dollars chasing it, the opposite happens. So we have got dollars flooding, not just the U.S., but the world is awash in cash. Now, I suspect that the idea was that Europe, for example, highly in debt, is that if we print more money, that they're going to get inflation. And I think the frustrating thing for the central bankers has been, it hasn't happened. In fact, exactly the opposite has happened. We've gone to zero interest. So the idea was we got all this debt, let's get inflation going, control it, but let's get inflation going so we can slowly start digging ourselves out of this hole. I don't know what's going to happen, Michael. I'm afraid, I mean, the worst case scenario is, worldwide depression and a total reset. Maybe we have to go to a year jubilee or something. I don't know the answer to that. But yeah, I'm concerned. I think it's going to take an entire generation to pay back. And I feel for our kids and grandkids. I still feel that the U.S. is going to honor its debts in one form or another. I say that today, but I really don't know. But I'm scared about it. The fundamental thing is you run the safety of hard assets. Gold. They always talk about gold. I'm a real estate guy myself. I just gold is. I'm afraid someone would find out I had gold and come and take it. So you need hard assets, and what you need is a good income. And I think FFS provides a wonderful opportunity for cash flow and income. And then you need to be wise about what you put your money in. And I believe these equity index type products are a great place to put money. I'm personally putting a lot of money in those. And, with the downdraft here where we had 40%, 50% down again, we just don't seem to learn. I stayed flat and I'm putting money in every month. So now the price point on those S&P options things is lower and lower, and I get to ride it up again. And it is a classic story that people just, for whatever reason, they just can't imagine that that's true. And that's our job, is to communicate that it really is true. And if you have a policy, there's nothing like showing it to the people. And I know all of you do have those, and that's critical to showing them exactly how it works out. So debt, I don't know, man. If you figure it out, I want you to Zoom me. Tell me about it. I appreciate those are good questions.
I appreciate it. I think it's important that our clients and us as representatives understand that the companies that we represent are financially strong. And I think that's a good message to send out, especially in this time. But thank you, Phil.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you both. Anybody else before we wrap it up? Any other questions for Mr. Phil at this time before we go ahead and call it a Zoom meeting? Anybody else? If no one has anything else, we're not going to make it longer than we have to. But like I said, for me at least, one of my main responsibilities. Oh, before I do this, I just got another question from Ashton regarding the marketing videos, if he could still get them. He didn't get around to ordering them, and that he sent me an email. Just so you know, if you send me an email saying, please give me the IUL for Adults video, just simply gets ignored. I get too many of those, and the reality is I cannot go and search everybody's phone number, email address, state license number, when we do have an online form to capture that information. And after I assume what phone number you want to be placed on the video, somebody comes back and says, I actually wanted my other cell phone number, not that one. And it just turns into a waste of time for everybody. We can't do that. So if you do just send an email saying, hey, give me the video for IUL for Adults, please, it just simply gets ignored. I don't even reply to it because we get so many of them. We did end the campaign, but if anybody on this webinar needs it, just send me an email asking for the link. And you're going to get a link, click on it, complete the information, and that's the way we do it. We don't do it just sporadically trying to scramble the information. It takes too long. We're all too busy, and we don't want to do that. So if no one has any other questions, comments, or concerns, I just want to say thank you to everybody for all that you do, for taking the time. We're here every Saturday morning, making sure that you have the information and at least setting the stage for you to get the answers you might be seeking. Now that some of you were here and some of you were not, that's secondary. The main thing is that we at least give you the opportunity, and not just hear it from me, but as you see here today from Phil himself. So I just want to say thank you, Phil, to you for being here on this Saturday morning. Oh, there you go. I was just looking at it. Yes. Thank you. That's probably one of the most practical things we got. I'm very careful with how many I'm opening up myself, but my family took all the others. So I just saved one in the package. I don't have to lose it, but it's really cool. A lot of exciting things are happening in FFS in our world. And once again, I was here back in 2008 when everything back then, we used to tell the story of what could happen. And then we started telling the story, look what just happened and what is happening. and then sales started to skyrocket. It's counterintuitive, but it's nice to see that we don't have to go out there and sell anything, we just have to tell the story. And everybody's aware of the story. They just don't know how to connect the dots. I got 3 calls yesterday from police officers that, oh, now it makes sense. This is what we were talking about. I got my deferred comp statement a couple of days ago, I think a week ago, and it lost 30%. And I don't need it. I don't use it. I don't care for that. But it's just money I want to give to my kids or something like that, or do something with it. I just can't touch it. I'm too young in regards to that. But the point that I'm making is that it's a story that resonates very well right now. Some will take this as the perfect reason to go out there and work like never before, and others will take this as the ultimate excuse. And you've got the Allens of the world making $28,000 in one single payday. And so it validates, and I don't mean and say it to brag, but I just simply showed you that it validates the fact that if we work, the system works. If we don't work, the system does not work. And so it's not a company thing, it's a us thing, individual thing. So I just thank everybody for all that you do. It makes a big difference in people's lives, especially with all the uncertainty out in the world today. I'm excited. I'll be the very first to tell you. I am putting out videos. Like I said, I usually just pin up my green screen to the wall. Marcella hates it. She doesn't like that. But I just broke out the frame because we're shooting out videos like you wouldn't believe. And this week, I only had 2 people send me their actual videos. I know Mr. Michael Hatter was one of them, because we do have a special training this week that only a few people, as of right now, John Up and Michael Hatter are going to be invited to the preview of the Camtasia software, which is how you edit it on your laptop. Very, very simple. No one else is going to be invited because you didn't send me the video. If you didn't send the video, you don't need to learn about the editing of a video that doesn't exist. And so I think, the people that did send it to me, you'll get a link for this week's webinar. And again, it's private. If you don't understand that video and streaming video like we're doing kind of right now, it's where it's at. This week, we're going to focus on the specialized training on how to up the number of client testimonials, not just a testimonial about indexing or about FFS or about National Life, a testimonial about you. Like the ones that I have. Look, ever since I hooked up with Javier 8 years ago, I haven't lost a dime. So while all my partners are running around, whining about how much money they lost, I'm flat. And when it goes up, I pick up where I left off. Thank you, Javier, for that. And so I got a bunch of those videos, but you don't want to publish a video about me. You want to publish a video talking about you. And that's what we're going to do. So far, 2 people are invited to that training webinar this week. And so I'm just telling you, get on the ball. This is not the time to sit here and feel sorry for ourselves or for the economy or for the world. This is the time to take action. And I've been waiting for this. And those of you that know me have heard me say this. I've been waiting for I didn't know it was going to be a pandemic. I thought it was going to be a massive market crash, something else. But you heard me say it. We're overdue. It's coming. And it's, like Phil said, a reset. And it's a reset of an opportunity for you to get yourself from where you are to where you deserve to be, along with your family. And thank you, Phil, for FFS. And thank you, all of you, for all that you do. Any questions, shoot me a text message. And I just want to say, again, thank you to all. Hope you stay healthy, stay safe, and let's go out there and make a difference in people's lives. And the more we help people get what they want, then we will go ahead and get what we want as well. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Javier.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay? Bye-bye.